The Galactic Council chamber stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian, a monument to thousands of years of interstellar diplomacy. Today it would witness something unprecedented. Rose Chen stood at the human delegation's platform, her fingers drumming against the crystalline podium. The weight of Earth's future pressed against her shoulders like a physical thing. Around her, representatives from 47 species watched with varying degrees of interest, contempt, or indifference. Humanity had been granted provisional membership only 6 months ago, and already the cracks were showing. "The motion stands," announced Archon Velthor, his 3 heads swiveling in perfect synchronization. Humanity must surrender its independent military capability within 30 cycles, or face expulsion and quarantine. Rose's jaw tightened. The translation implant at her temple buzzed uncomfortably. 30 cycles, 42 Earth days. It was an ultimatum dressed as diplomacy. "Archon, if I may," she began. "You may not," interrupted Ambassador Krenal of the Zelthian Concordat, her crystalline body refracting the chamber's light into hostile rainbows. "Your species has demonstrated nothing but primitive aggression since contact. The incident at Proxima Station alone was self-defense," Rose cut in, her voice sharp enough to slice through the translator's diplomatic softening. "Your security forces opened fire on unarmed human merchants." "A regrettable misunderstanding." Krenal's tone suggested it was anything but regrettable. "Regardless, the pattern is clear. Humanity is too volatile, too dangerous to maintain weapons of mass destruction." In the observation gallery above, Jake Morrison watched the proceedings with growing frustration. The former Marine had been assigned as Rose's security detail, though everyone knew it was really a babysitting job. The Council had made it clear, humans were to be seen, tolerated but never truly respected. He'd seen this dance before, on a dozen planets across a dozen conflicts. The strong dictating terms to the weak wrapped in the language of law and order. His hand instinctively moved to his hip, where his sidearm would have been if the Council permitted humans to carry weapons in the chamber. Below, Rose was pulling up a holographic display. The Council's own records show that humanity has been involved in defensive actions only. "Every single conflict, enough!" Velthor's central head snapped forward. "The decision is not yours to debate, human. The Council has spoken. Your military will be dismantled, your warships decommissioned, your weapons surrendered. In exchange, we offer protection under galactic law." "Protection," Rose repeated, tasting the word like poison. "The same protection that failed the Tirani people when the Krath Collective annexed their system? The same protection that took 3 years to arrive at Deneb Fif, while its population was being harvested?" The chamber erupted in angry chittering, whistling, and frequency modulations that made Jake's ears ring, even through the dampeners. Rose had just committed the cardinal sin of council politics, telling the truth. Velthor's heads conferred silently before the center one spoke again. "The human delegate will mind her tongue or find herself removed from these proceedings." Jake was already moving before he consciously decided to. He vaulted the gallery rail, his military-grade augments absorbing the 15-meter drop with barely a flex of his knees. He landed beside Rose's platform with a crack that echoed through the suddenly silent chamber. "That's far enough," he said quietly, placing himself between Rose and the advancing Council security drones. "Jake, don't..." Rose started, but he shook his head. "They want to see what humanity is capable of. Let's show them." What happened next would be analyzed in military academies across the galaxy for generations. Jake moved like water and struck like lightning. The first security drone never registered his approach before he'd torn its hover plate free and sent it spinning into its companion. His augments, primitive by galactic standards but built for actual combat rather than ceremony, turned him into a blur of controlled violence. More drones poured into the chamber. Jake dismantled them with brutal efficiency, each movement precise, minimal, lethal. He wasn't showing off. He was demonstrating a fundamental truth the galaxy had forgotten in its millennia of soft peace. Humans were persistence hunters, apex predators who had clawed their way to the top of a death world's food chain. The Council's champion guard, a 4-meter-tall Thraken warrior, charged forward with a roar that shook the chamber walls. Jake sidestepped, grabbed one massive arm and used the creature's own momentum to send it crashing through a delegation platform. "Stop." Velthor's voice carried an edge of panic now.
"Stop this at once!"
Jake paused, breathing easily despite the destruction around him. 47 alien delegations stared in shocked silence. "Here's what's going to happen," Rose said into that silence, her voice carrying a steel that hadn't been there before. "Humanity will not disarm. We will not surrender our ability to defend ourselves. If the Council wishes to expel us, so be it. We survived 4 billion years on a planet that tried to kill us daily. We'll survive without your protection. You cannot," Krenal began. "We can," Jake interjected, cracking his knuckles with deliberate menace. "And we will. Every species in this chamber achieved sentience on worlds with gravity between 0.7 and 1.1 standard. Earth is 1.4. You evolved on planets with average temperatures between 15 and 30 degrees. Earth swings from 90 to plus 50. You're all the product of gentle worlds that nurtured your development." He gestured broadly. "Humanity? We're the product of a world that tried to murder us every single day. We lived through ice ages and supervolcano eruptions. We survived predators that could smell us from kilometers away, diseases that killed millions, and our own tendency to split into tribes and wage war. And you know what? It made us strong in ways your species can't even comprehend." Rose pulled up another holographic display. "Our primitive warships use nuclear fusion drives you deemed obsolete, but they can accelerate at 15 Gs continuously. Your ships manage 3. Our crude kinetic weapons can punch through shields designed to stop energy weapons. Our soldiers can function in environments that would kill most of your species within minutes. We're not asking for special treatment," she continued. "We're informing you of reality. Humanity doesn't need the Council's protection, but the Council might find it useful to have humanity as an ally rather than making us an enemy." Velthor's 3 heads conferred again, longer this time. When he spoke, his tone had shifted from imperious to cautious. "And if the Council were to reconsider its position? Then we talk," Rose said simply. "As equals." The vote, when it came, was closer than anyone expected. The motion to force human disarmament was withdrawn. In its place, a new treaty. Humanity would maintain its military, but would also provide training and consultation to Council defense forces. It was a compromise, but more importantly, it was respect. As they left the chamber hours later, Jake grinned at Rose. So much for humanity being too primitive for galactic politics. Rose allowed herself a small smile. "We've always been good at making an impression." "That we have," Jake agreed. "That we have." Behind them, the Galactic Council continued its deliberations, but now with a new understanding. Humanity's true power wasn't just in their weapons or their augments or their death world physiology. It was in their absolute refusal to submit, their stubborn insistence on survival against all odds, and their willingness to back up words with action. The galaxy had finally seen what humanity was capable of, and it would never underestimate them again.